Howdy y'all. We've made some awesome progress on this engine, and today we'd like to get the flywheel and the bell housing on here. We had some issues getting this engine off of our engine stand, which is why we're thinking about other options to move this engine around. But we need to get the rest of this engine stand off of here. We're going to put our flywheel on here in our bell housing. And our bell housing's over here. Dad's already painstakingly cleaned it up. We've got the bolts ready. I think we have the fold-over locks we need, but we're going to have to check on that. We might have to make a few.
I got patterns.
I was hoping we were done with fold-over locks.
I'm going to have to make them.
Yeah. Well, we have some material, and these are fairly simple. So we could cut it out. The stuff we have is a little thicker than that.
Yeah.
Not much, but it'll work.
I don't know. That'll be all right.
It's a little thicker than they are,
yeah,
but it'll work. Well, we'll just cut some out of that. Got our sheet metal over here. We're going to mark this out, and I'll cut it out with electric metal shear. Well, I think the flywheel ones are these ones with the bigger holes. I think that these get regular split lock washers, and our foldovers are going to go on the flywheel. And this little pointer one's got even little foldover lock on it. Well, there's our 4G flywheel. This is the one off of 7J we're going to use. These are the bolts. The other two bolts are in the crank. I'm going to roll this over. There's a pilot bearing and a race inside of here that I need to change out. Oh,
that's a big boy.
Yes. Okay. Yep.
Well, we just need 3 of them.
Right.
They go like this. And then this one was broke.
That race is an OR305 Hyatt outer race OR. Let me see if I've got one. Here's the bearing that's going to go in there, a brand new one. It's a 3B0828. I was actually lucky to find one of those. And here's the race. That's a 1B3717. And this replaces that Hyatt bearing. I think we're going to throw that in the freezer for a little while. Dad's cutting some new fold-over locks. Plan is to stack all of these up and put them in a clamp on our drill press and drill the holes out. We just need to egg them out with a rat tail file a little bit. It'll be fine. We're not too happy with our first go around of fold-over locks. Dad's being a little hard on himself. They're not that bad, but what do they call this job in Germany? Von 12 bis Mittag?
I don't know.
From 12 to noon it'll last?
Yeah. Yeah, they're... We need a little bigger drill would have helped.
Yeah, yeah. We've decided that the time we spend on fold-over locks, we could probably get much better things accomplished.
Yes.
Yeah, this bearing's got some bad spots. You can see where it's flat in there, where it wasn't spinning. Let's get that race out of there. Hard to see in there, folks, but there's a little hole in that race on either side. And my goal is to see if I can get a taper punch in there and maybe punch that old race out. I would sure like to save it. Oh yeah, it's coming out. Good. Might be able to save this race too.
Yeah, that'll be good.
There it is. No damage. Got it out of there. I can throw it on the shelf with my used old stock. There's a hole right there. I've got that screwdriver in. That is how the grease gets into this throwout bearing. And the taper on that race goes down. I guess it's not a throwout bearing, but more of a pilot bearing. Anyway, I'm cleaning that out, full of grease and gunk. I'm going to make sure it's open, but the race does not install all the way back down to the bottom. There's a little bit of room between the race and the bottom inside of the housing to let grease get up into that bearing. Alright, and the taper goes down.
Keep going.
Now we're getting there. That might be it.
Yeah, I think it is.
We don't want to go anymore. I gotta take the rest of this mount off the back of the engine here. I'm gonna clean this up, this extra gasket material that's seeping out here, and I'm gonna clean up the mating surface on here. Plan now is to lift this engine up and get this. We're just gonna set it on the oil pan for now till we can get our bell housing on here, and then we can block it on the bell housing. That's enough, eh?
That's good. See if that clears the plug. I think so.
I need to go over in my parts. There's an O-ring that goes here. This bell housing is upside down, but it corresponds with right here. You can see there's kind of a notch out for the O-ring, and that's for the coolant passage that goes to the pony motor. That O-ring's going to be a 5M 5860. Got the bell housing cleaned off, and I got the back of the engine cleaned off. I think we're ready to put it on here. I need to get my O-ring in there.
Yeah, I know.
Alright. We're giving the bolt holes in there a final brushing just to make sure everything's clean. We've already cleaned the dowels. Everything should slide together good once we get ready. That's just a little bit of tire lube, pipe lube. It's basically a soap.
All right.
Okay.
Now,
we are
down
just a hair. Barely.
More?
Trying to. Yeah.
How's that?
And very close. Might be close to that one over there. We're not picked. No, we got a hair more to go down.
Down?
Yeah. There, hold it.
Stopped it.
All right.
Can you get a couple of bolts started? And
let it down a little bit and I'll undo the chains. There, that's good. All right. I've got new lock washers on there. And these are cadmium plated, but we don't care. Inside of here, it's not going to get paint. It's not going to get seen again. And we've got 4 bolts on the bottom here that actually come in from the oil pan side. They're a smaller bolt, too. They're a 1/2 inch, and these are 5/8. I'm going to snug all these up, and then we'll torque them down. Going to torque all these bell housing bolts at 150, and the smaller ones that come in from the oil pan side, we're going to torque those to 85. I've got everything torqued on the bell housing, and right here there's a timing mark, and that corresponds with a mark on the flywheel. We're going to have to move it a little bit so that this piston's up. So this is number 4. We're going to want 1 and 4 to be up, which they are. But we need to get it all the way correct. And this one says top center 2 and 3. And this mark says top center 1 and 4. So we want that arrow pointing to top center 1 and 4. Now, you can get these on incorrectly, and from what I understand and what I've heard from others, is that these were put on incorrectly, and the timing marks weren't correct on a lot of them. So this was a overlooked step when these were serviced in the field, and honestly, this thing weighs a lot. And I can't imagine wrestling this around in a broken tractor in the middle of a field. So it was probably just get it on there, bolt it up, and be done with it. But before we forget, we need to get a new grease zerk in here. This one was damaged and leaking. I've already rotted this out with a wire. Dad's blew it out. I've put braid cleaner through there. I know it goes through and oils this bearing on the pilot bearing here, so that's fine. Okay, time to hunt. Hunt. Where did I put all the grease zerks? I know I got grease zerks. There's grease zerks around here somewhere. Oh, there they are. Right where I least expected them. Right in front of my face. Oh, hey, kitty. You came up here to help us find grease zerks. That's probably... That looks right. Right there. Dad's got the Dremel out with a little wire brush, and he's going to clean out those bolt holes on the flywheel real quick. While he's doing that, I'm going to re-block this engine. Now that we got the bell housing on it, I can block it underneath here. There's a nice flat spot here, and I'm going to redo the cribbing on the front. 4,000 pounds. That's hard to believe. Normally hate jack stands, and this is no exception, but I want to get some piece of hose or some rubber underneath of here, because I don't like metal on metal, but I think that this will work. I don't know, give it a little wiggle.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. Let's re-crib the front.
I'd like to redo the front.
That's a frustrated mess that we put together late one night after we got the oil pan on and things weren't going well. Gotta go till that hook hooks.
Okay.
Okay. That's much better. And I have a safety block under the oil pan. Worst case scenario, if the jack stands I don't trust don't hold up or waver, it'll go onto that. Now we're nice and stable. We've got access to put our radiator on, work on the front of the engine, and we can get our flywheel on here now.
Yep.
There we go. I got a paint pen. We're going to clean these out, both these marks, and I'm going to use a paint pen so we can get some good paint in there so we can see it in the future. For some reason, there's a fine thread 3/8 bolt hole up here in this flywheel, which I guess it might be for this reason, but it's good to pick it because this thing is heavy. Let's do the other one. Much better. Well, let's see. Which mark do we have up? 1 and 4. So, that's closest, so that's probably...
Yeah, let's do 1 and 4.
Yeah.
Let's see. I probably need to go this way.
Other way.
I'm going to need to go the other way.
Or go full circle.
I might have to go the long way around just for that little bit.
Yes, you do. I was just thinking that we forgot a bolt, but what that is, there's a port, and it's to drain any oil or anything that comes out here around the crank, and it can seep out here and drain out this plug. Got our locks right here, the foldovers Dad made. I'm going to just get a bolt started in there, is the plan, and then I can take it out, and we'll put the locks on and tighten everything down. Okay, I think we're ready to put this thing on here. Ready for a wrestling match?
Yeah.
I guess I'm the one that's going to be wrestling.
You're going to be wrestling the gator. I'm going to be watching.
Yeah. Well, we got it in there. That was quite a wrestling match, but we got bolts started. Now we're going to pull one out, and Dad's got our fold-over lock ready to go. but I want to show you, we have number 4 piston all the way up, and right there, it's right on our mark. Top center, 1 and 4. Underneath that bolt in the flywheel, there's a mark, a line, you can see, and I think the idea is to line that up with the very top on your crank when this piston is up, and that will line everything up. It's kind of in a line all the way up. Finally got everything started. Well, we got everything snugged up, and if you'll remember right, when we took this apart, I had to use our 1-inch air impact wrench. We've got these lightly lubricated, so they're going to take a little less torque than normal, and I think we're going to shoot for, what, 240? 240 foot-pounds, something like that.
215.
Yeah, 215, but it's gonna take a lot, and we got to hold the engine. So the idea here is to take the plug out at the bottom of this bell housing, put a bar in here to hold the engine from turning. Got the torque wrench set to 200, which is maxing this one out. I actually need a torque multiplier for a lot of these things.
Is that working? That's a heavy wall.
Yeah, that's 200. I guess I should probably do like a wheel, huh? You know what? I think I can get more than that.
You know what we'll do?
Put a pipe on it.
Don't use your torque wrench, though.
Yeah, no. I'm not going to do that to my torque wrench. All this is going to do is give us peace of mind that we got it to 200.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, I think that's over here. Yeah.
Dad's searching.
Huh?
Dad's playing Raiders of the Lost Ark for tools.
Let's get a... We need a big breaker.
That's a 3/4 inch breaker bar, and he's got a 2-foot cheater or so.
I'm out about 2 feet. Yeah.
So we're probably getting closer to where we want to be.
And I'm using 4 grunts.
Because this took Big Brutus to get these knocked loose. On both 7J and 4G's flywheel. Aw, you're weak, old man.
I
can get more out of them.
I wouldn't go any more than that.
Oh no, I'll probably be stripping some.
Yeah.
We're gonna call this good after I get these other 3 tight.
Okay, this one's good.
Okay.
See, that'll bend there.
Okay.
This one, I guess it'll work right there.
I can give it a little more. That one I haven't hit yet.
Yeah, I'll fold it up right there. That'll be good. This one, that one's good. This one, can we fold right there?
Yes.
And this one will fold right there.
What about this one here?
What's it look like?
I don't think I moved
Where's the fold?
Yeah,
it'll work right there.
All right. Dad's going to do the fold-overs, fold those over, and then we'll put the bearing in. While Dad's folding over locks, I'm going to put a little grease on this pilot bearing. This is a brand new Cat one we got, and we've got everything cleaned up. I've got new locks to put on the plate that holds it in, and it's got a little felt in there to kind of keep grease and stuff in there. I'll be using some lubriplate, Grandpa's favorite. I kind of want a lighter grease that's not going to cake up in there, so we can keep it open and it'll still take grease. Dad has successfully made unbendable fold-over locks.
Yeah, they're tough.
It's a little thicker material than what Cat used, but it's what we had on hand. It's definitely going to work just fine. Dad got his fold-over locks folded really well, and they are very heavy-duty, so they are not going to go anywhere. I've got the pilot bearing, and I got it greased really well with lubriplate. Put it in there. And that new race, that'll be a nice tight fit. In front of the pilot bearing, there's a flat plate. You can see where the bearing was riding. I'm going to flip it over to where on the other side. Then there's a felt washer, and then the front plate that basically holds the felt washer and the bearing and everything in there. And we've got new lock washers on our 3/8 bolts. I'm going to put all those guys in. I'm going to torque them to, you guessed it, 45. Well, the bell housing and the flywheel are on there. And they took quite a wrestling match to get it where it needed to go. But we're happy. Another big step. And we're moving along. I do want to thank you for watching. And we'll see you on the next one. Let's snorkel. Snorkel. Let's snug. Ugh, cut this. We're going to put a, oops.
That's too much.
Yeah, a dab of oil. I'm not used to an oil can that works on the first pump.
That oil can's about 50 years old.
Yeah. It's a baby compared to this machine.